What's an insecurity that you have? Maybe it's the way you look. Maybe it's the way you laugh. Maybe it's your intelligence or your humor, or maybe it's even the way that you love people. Take a second and think about that. What's an insecurity that pops up, that thing that just constantly rings in your head that just makes you feel awful? Now, what if I were to tell you that that insecurity is a lie? A lie from the enemy, one that he wants to use over and over and over and over again to take you away from the things that God has for you. Now, I think we can all agree, we don't want to believe a lie. We don't want that in our lives. We don't want to hang on to that. I don't think any of us want to believe a lie. That's exactly what the enemy wants from you. You see, for me, that insecurity started at a really young age. It was one simple comment that my mom said that, honestly, the enemy came in and got a foothold. It sucks to say, but it's what happened. I think I was maybe 5 or 6 at the time. And I remember my mom telling me about how my sister was so good at reading, that from a very young age, she just excelled at it. And not that I wasn't happy for her, but hearing this as a kid, you just continue to replay it in your head. Then my mom talked about how when my sister was 3 years old, she could read National Geographic magazines and understand all of it. Meanwhile, I was 5 or 6 years old and I couldn't read. Reading was a struggle for me. It was so hard. And honestly, the enemy used that as a foothold to get into my life. And he's replayed that in my head for years and years and years. Now, nothing against my mom or my family. I think my mom tried to say it to encourage me to do better. But in my little head, I took it as I'm not good enough. I'm not smart enough to do this. I'm obviously not able to do the same thing that my sister's able to do, so I'm just not smart enough to do this. It opened a door, and the enemy snuck on in and exploited that for a very long time. You see, my whole life, I've been insecure about my intelligence, whether it was things in school or whether it being something to say to somebody. Do I even have good words to share? And what started as something maybe more towards the academics ended up bleeding into my whole life. In fact, when the Lord called me to come to Guatemala to be a missionary, I wasn't worried about moving to another country. The biggest thing I was worried about was learning a language. I didn't feel like I was smart enough to be able to pick it up. I didn't think it was going to be possible for me to be able to learn a second language. And honestly, there was part of me that wanted to cop out and move to someplace like Africa or Asia because I felt like at least people would understand if I didn't speak the language there because they're really tough languages to learn. But if I'm going to a Spanish-speaking country and so many people learn Spanish, they're going to judge me. They're going to think that I'm less than. And it just fed into that insecurity. And when I first moved here, I'd only committed for 6 months and I chose really not to learn the language. I said, nope, I'm good. I don't want to do that. I'm not living here very long anyway. I just have a 6-month commitment. When the Lord asked me to stay longer, I knew I was going to have to face this fear and I was going to have to learn Spanish. And thankfully, I can say today that I do know a lot more Spanish than I came in with. And I feel a lot more confident and comfortable in it. Thanks, God. Now, you see, when I had finally conquered the language fear and was getting better at learning Spanish and stuff, the Lord called my husband and I to start our own ministry. We went from doing physical things like installing a water filter, which honestly, you learn how to say those words over and over and over again, and it comes pretty easily to you after a while. You say the same things to people of how to make the water filter work, how to clean it, all that kind of stuff. I had it down pat. I was feeling good. And then the Lord said, start your own ministry. And this ministry is going to be a relational one. And that touched on another insecurity when it comes to intelligence, and that was wisdom. Do I actually have wisdom to share with people? Do I actually hear from the Lord, and am I able to share His words? Do I have things to share with people? Do I have good things to speak to people? Do I have words of encouragement to share? It was really tough. And honestly, it's something that I still struggle with today, is wondering if what I'm saying, is it good enough? Is it worth it to share? Does it have value? Along with that, this fear that I had of intelligence, it bled over into all the areas of my life, including my relationship with the Lord, my walk with the Lord. it came to a point where I kind of didn't like reading the Bible anymore because I felt like I didn't understand it like other people understood it. That left me feeling insecure of maybe I just don't get it. Maybe I'm just as dumb as my thoughts tell me that I am because I just simply am not understanding. And I feel like I walked away from reading my Bible and trying to understand more and trying to get to know God's character more because of that insecurity. See, maybe you're catching the trend here. Maybe you're seeing the pattern. And it honestly just took me such a long time to see this, that a simple little lie that I believed as a child opened a door and the enemy exploited that for years. But you see, the thing that God has been teaching me recently is that what the enemy means for evil, God will absolutely use for his good. That the enemy comes to kill, steal, and destroy, but God comes to give life and life abundantly. That the enemy is the father of all lies. And so that must mean that God is the father of all truth. And so that little voice that I've heard in my head for such a long time saying you're not smart enough, you're not good enough, you're not wise enough, you have nothing to say, those are not from my Father. Those are 1,000% absolutely from the enemy. And how I know this is that I have the Holy Spirit living inside of me. And one of the fruits, the blessings, the ways that we, know that we have him inside of us is one of those fruits is peace. And when I hear those words being spoken over me, I do not have peace. I feel restless. I feel anxious. And those are not fruits. Those are not ways that the Holy Spirit reveals himself. And so in that, I know that that little voice inside my head telling me that I'm not good enough is an absolute lie. See, recently the Lord has been sharing with me that the words that the enemy speaks, those lies that he speaks over me, the opposite is actually what's true. And so what that means is that if the enemy is speaking over me that I'm not intelligent, I'm not smart, I'm dumb, I'm stupid, if he's speaking over me, it's impossible to learn a language. If he's speaking over me, I have no wisdom to share with people. The words that come out of my mouth hold no value. There's no point in me even sharing. Then the opposite is true, that God has created me as a beautiful and intelligent woman, that he has created me with wisdom and discernment, that God has given me beautiful words of encouragement to speak and to share to his children. And if I confidently walk in that, how much more crowded could heaven be? If I confidently walk in what God has created me to be, who he has created me to be, if I confidently step forth as the woman that I am, that he's called me to be, that he's created me to be, how many more could come to know him because of that? And so that's what I want to do, because that freaks the enemy out, and good it should, because God has created incredible and amazing children. You and I, we're some of his incredible and amazing children, and we're called to go out into the world and to bring in the rest of his incredible and amazing children so they can walk in the fullness with him. And so I just want to encourage you today to think about those lies that you believe in your life and to ask the Lord, what's the opposite? What are you saying about me? Who have you called me to be? And ask him how you can confidently walk in those things. I know in this season of life, I'm currently learning that. I'm currently learning to confidently walk in who he's called me to be. And it's not always easy. It's challenging, but it's so, so good. So I encourage you today to ask the Lord, who has he created you to be? And what are the lies in your life that you've believed for far too long? What's the truth? And how does he want to use that? Hey, and thank you so much for joining me today. I look forward to catching you in the next one. Bye!